This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 10. Coverage you can count on.
Arrested again. A Deltona man is now accused of child abuse for a second time for allegedly burning a child. Why he wasn't prosecuted for the last alleged incident.
But first, the search for a man who stalked a woman as she entered her Orlando apartment and then tried to force his way inside. And tonight, Orlando police want everyone to take a good look at this sketch of the attacker. Good evening. I'm Martha Sigalski.
And I'm Greg Wormuth. Cops say this guy stuck his hand over a woman's face so she couldn't scream for help. Channel 9's Ken Tyndall is live in downtown Orlando along Cathcart where this happened. And Ken, neighbors hope they find this guy soon.
They do indeed, Greg. This is the area where it happened around 8:45 last night. And tonight, police are hoping this sketch will help lead to the arrest of the suspect. And tonight, detectives are asking anybody who may recognize the suspect in this picture to call police. Live in Orlando, Ken Tyndall, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
You can go to our WFTV Facebook page and share this sketch. We'll let you know when police get any leads in the search for this attacker.
Well, police say a mother accused of kidnapping her 2-year-old son at gunpoint sent a taunting video to the boy's father and stepmother after the crime. That stepmother sent this video to Channel 9. She says it was captured after the armed kidnapping that prompted an Amber Alert yesterday. In the video, the boy can be seen as his mother talks about living the high life.
Cuando quieras puedes hacer lo que quieras, mira. Estamos como millonarios. Somos millos.
The boy is now home safe with his father. His mother, Suhi Perez Diaz, appearing before a judge this afternoon. She is being held on no bond in Volusia County. And Eyewitness News also learned the suspect had a prior run-in with the son's stepmother, and there was even a restraining order issued last year. New court documents, we see that the woman accused Suhi Perez Diaz of coming to her work with a gun and a knife. She also issued explicit threatening texts in Spanish. One translation says, "You're going to pay expletive because I'm going to rip your head off." The injunction was in place for less than a month. An Orlando police report shows the stepmother told them the DCF removed Genzel, that little boy, from his mother's care about a year ago, and she just recently started getting visits.
For the second time in 2 years, a Deltona man has been arrested following allegations he burned a child. Last year, he was accused of putting a 3-year-old girl in an oven. This time, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office believes he poured boiling water on a little boy's back. Channel 9's Jeff Deal has been looking into this for us. He joins us live. And Jeff, he was not prosecuted the first time, though.
No, he wasn't. Records from the state attorney's office indicate there were problems with the case. The girl was difficult to understand, they said, gave some inconsistent statements, and they couldn't find anyone who actually witnessed the abuse. The sheriff told us tonight, though, he believes both children were victimized by this guy, and he hopes this time the suspect will be put away for a long time.
Castleberry police say the man who robbed a bank wearing a wig and a dress threatened to kill everyone inside. They say this video shows 51-year-old Gumcindo Reyes demanding cash at the counter. The arrest report says he ditched the clothes, got into a fight with a deputy, and then stole a deputy's cruiser. We spoke with this man who was inside one of the vehicles that Reyes crashed into.
I believe he was trying to go through the sidewalk to avoid the spark sticks.
Deputies also released video of them taking Reyes into custody. He was in court today and is being held on no bond.
Breaking right now, NASA just sent a rocket into space on the back of a plane that took off at the Cape. A Northrop Grumman Pegasus rocket was carried 39,000 feet into the air. This is the camera from that plane. In the air, it deployed so it could send an Icon satellite into orbit. The launch was delayed about a half hour tonight after NASA lost communication with the rocket. This Icon satellite will help scientists study the Earth's upper atmosphere, and from all accounts, as we take a look from the feed provided to us from NASA, it was a success. We'll monitor this and bring you the latest coming up on Eyewitness News at 11. But there you go, Martha. We had hoped it would happen, and there it is. That video just into Eyewitness News.
Well, we started changing our weather pattern around pretty significantly. Look at this dry air that's coming through. Now, we haven't finished the rainfall yet. I'm updating who could still see a shower late tonight and tomorrow, Greg.
All right, and some neighbors in Daytona Beach say their homes keep flooding and flooding, but nobody's doing anything to help. coming up, who the city says is to blame for the problems that these people are facing right now. And when the conversation turns to politics, things can get heated in a hurry, but see the moment when protesters for and against President Trump today took a moment to be civil and listen to each other in Seminole County.
Wake up with TV 27 and Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. It's local news, weather, and traffic you trust at a time that works for you. Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Only on TV 27.
No matter where you live, the team in Severe Weather Center 9 has you covered. We're tracking changing forecasts down to the minute.
It's a clear, easy to understand look at your day you won't find on any phone. Channel 9 Eyewitness News, weather coverage you can count on.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. Governor Ron DeSantis is returning money he received from two Soviet-born businessmen arrested on violating campaign finance laws. The two men donated $50,000 to the Friends of Ron DeSantis political committee in June of last year. They were arrested yesterday, accused of funneling foreign money into state and federal campaigns.
Things got heated between President Trump's supporters and opponents today in Seminole County. A pro-Trump group rallied outside Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy's office in Sanford. They were calling on Murphy to drop the impeachment inquiry against the president. It quickly turned into a shouting match, but then two guys took a timeout to have a somewhat civil and calm conversation.
I'm not trying to win a conversation. I just want to get an understanding.
I don't think that it's important to like bend each other's will, but I think that these discussions are important.
That makes sense. The pro-President Trump rally was called Stop the Madness. While some Daytona Beach homeowners say they know why their homes keep flooding, but no one will fix the problem, and the problem is bigger than just the recent rains. Channel 9's Mike Springer went to Daytona Beach, where some folks say they just can't get a break.
The water's receded, but behind me, less than 24 hours ago, this street here was flooded out. You can still see that field there is covered in water. People in this neighborhood tell me they are tired with dealing with this every time we get a heavy rain.
Still a slight chance for showers tomorrow, but I took rain out for both Saturday and Sunday for the most part. Could still see an isolated shower Saturday morning along the coast. Otherwise, we're pretty dry. 87 tomorrow, the Villages and Lady Lake, and 82 at the world's most famous beach. And by the way, Daytona got over 9 inches of rain in the 3-day period this week. Here's your 5-day forecast. Weekend always in view. An isolated shower tonight and tomorrow, but a nice weekend coming up, including my favorite, the cooler mornings are coming back. Martha?
I like that. And the cooler nights with a cool drink. The convicted killer whose bogus self-defense claim was thrown out in court learned his fate today. The judge's harsh words for the Clearwater man who took a life in a parking lot. Then some potential relief for thousands of students heading to college. We're going to break down the plan to let high schoolers retake parts of the ACT to help their scores look a little better.
Weather from Severe Weather Center 9 is brought to you by the law offices of Attorney Dan Newland.
In the search for truth, who you trust matters now more than ever. At Channel 9 Eyewitness News, our mission is clear. Follow the facts, provide context, challenge perceptions, and inspire change. That is our promise to you. Channel 9 Eyewitness News, always live at 4, 5, and 6. It's coverage you can count on.
It's 20 years in prison for the Clearwater man in this video. Michael Draka learned his sentence today for a fatal shooting over a parking space where he tried to claim self-defense. There it is on video. In July of 2018, Draka had been arguing with Marquise McLaughlin's girlfriend about where they were parked when McLaughlin tried to intervene. Today, prosecutors reiterated that surveillance video showed McLaughlin later tried to back away from this confrontation, disproving any claim of self-defense. The judge called Draka a, quote, wannabe law enforcement officer and a self-appointed handicapped parking space monitor.
Apparently, when he does this and people show respect and perhaps fear, he has no problem with the way things are going.
The victim died in front of his 5-year-old son, who was also there at the store. Lawyers for Drake are appealing the case.
Well, students will soon be able to retake parts of the ACT. Officials say it's a way to boost your score without retaking the entire college entrance exam. The price hasn't been set, but it is expected to be cheaper than taking the whole test. And you can take it online at some testing centers and receive your scores in 2 days. You can read more about how the new testing rules work in the Trending Now section of WFTV.com.
A UCF program that helps treat people with PTSD is now evolving even more.
Coming up, the big boost they just got from the Department of Defense.
And ahead, as Turkey continues marching through Syria tonight, now that American troops are gone, see what President Trump is saying this evening about possible payback against the country of Turkey.
Then next, the major test in the works that will bring us one step closer to sending our American astronauts to space from our American launch pads. Boeing is planning its first unmanned test flight to the International Space Station this December as part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program.
As Eyewitness News reporter Melanie Holt explains from Brevard County, the flight will bring the agency one step closer to restoring its ability to launch U.S. astronauts from right here in Central Florida.
Well, Florida is planning to use a chunk of its share of a federal payout from the Volkswagen emissions scandal to buy electric public transit and school buses. The state is getting $116 million as part of the $14.7 billion settlement between Volkswagen and the Department of Justice. Nearly 70% of the money will be used to help school districts buy new electric or alternative fuel buses. Another 15% will go toward building charging stations for electric vehicles at all Florida Turnpike service plazas.
New tonight, the death toll is rising in Turkey's military assault on America's Kurdish allies inside Syria. The Kurds help the U.S. fight ISIS and then secure those ISIS fighters in prisons. The invasion came just days after President Trump pulled American troops out of that region. And tonight, he was pressed on what the U.S. should do now. Right now, we have a series of recalls for you to know about. First, BMW is recalling more than 250,000 vehicles in the U.S. because drivers might not be able to see the backup camera display. The recall includes several models of cars and SUVs you see here behind me, as well as the Z4 sports cars and the Rolls-Royce Cullinan and Phantom. The company says the display settings can be changed so that the rear camera view is turned off when the car is in reverse, and it is trying to fix that issue. Meantime, a little different here, a chicken recall has been expanded over concerns about Listeria. The Tip Top Poultry Company first issued a recall last month. It covered frozen, cooked, diced, or shredded products produced between January 21st and September 24th. The recall now includes ready-to-eat chicken products. These were sold at stores nationwide, including Trader Joe's, Target, and Aldi. And if you like Bluebell ice cream, the company is recalling all its half-gallon packages of Butter Crunch ice cream that was made on the date August 26th. The FDA says pieces of a broken plastic may have ended up in the product somehow, and as a result, Bluebell is voluntarily recalling all the ice cream made there on that particular day, the 26th of August. You can read more details about these recalls on WFTV.com.
Some unhappy passengers on a Norwegian cruise started a protest inside the ship demanding a refund after several ports of call were canceled because of weather. Well, this was at a Norwegian Spirit cruise ship earlier this week. Passengers say stops in Amsterdam and Iceland were canceled over bad weather and high winds. Norwegian Cruise Line has offered passengers a 25% credit on a future cruise, but that's not good enough, and the passengers are demanding a full refund.
Sure. What's better than 25% off? Free.
An Orlando woman was just cheated out of $2,000 as well as a place to live.
She is the victim of a new renter scheme that Action 9 will expose after the break, plus how you can protect your money.
The next, a stolen duffel bag could put a lot of folks in harm's way. The dangerous reptiles that were snatched. Yeah. Don't touch that bag.
It's pretty.
It was snatched from an animal expert. Don't look inside.
Right now, we're expecting drier weather overall, a glorious weekend, but are we getting into the dry season yet? Talk about that.
The WFTV News app. Set custom alerts for stories that matter to you. Just search WFTV. Brought to you by the Law Offices of Attorney Dan Newland.
There's a new scheme to cheat local renters out of thousands of dollars. An Orlando woman thought she rented a home from a well-known company, but days after moving in, she was kicked out and lost more than $2,000.
Action on consumer investigator Todd Ulrich shows us how scammers trick renters and why it's so hard to get your money back.
And Todd tells us the scammers could use any legitimate company's name and listing to trick consumers. He reached out to American Homes for Rent about what happened. That company did not respond.
All right, you ready for this next story? Police in California looking for someone who stole something very valuable and very dangerous from a reptile breeder. Brian Gundy just wrapped up a presentation at a public library and was putting everything back in his car when someone snatched his duffel bag. Inside, 4 pythons and another reptile, all valued at about $5,000.
They picked it up. It was heavy, probably 30 pounds or so, and that triggered something in that person's mind, maybe camera equipment or computer gear.
Well, since they're actually kind of pretty. Since the animals were stolen on Saturday, 2 have been returned after someone found them in a dumpster. But 2 snakes and a lizard are still missing. Gundy is worried about their safety and just wants them back. No questions asked. You can see he likes them.
They have their own little home there.
Little box.
Little
box.
Yeah. You know, you've heard of die packs in money from banks. They should just put snakes in there.
Whoa! No, I would take it.
Yeah, that would change things around real fast.
Yeah, it would.
You know, have we started the dry season yet? Of course, we just came out of a lot of heavy rain, and normally it's a big heavy rain event, and then we just kind of turn it off like a switch. Let's see what's going to happen this time around. Downtown Orlando, still pretty humid, and that's one of the things that we not quite changed over to the dry season yet because we still have the high humidity levels. But as temperatures cool down, we don't get our sea breezes going. We don't get that daytime afternoon thunderstorm pattern that gives us about 60% of our annual rainfall. And this time of the year, we normally start relying more on cold fronts or the occasional low pressure area instead of a sea breeze, that heat-driven rainfall pattern we have in the summer to give us rain. Very dry, as I showed you last half hour. Still getting a little bit of moisture in the low levels down where we are, with some slight chance for showers here in the next few hours along the coast of Brevard County. But generally, we're in this drier pattern after a pretty nice wet week, and normally October brings these changes. The average start date for the dry season is right around the 15th of October, which also is pretty closely related to the cool season, which is when we get into the 50s for the first time in Orlando. And normally, these stronger cold fronts come through, they cool it down, they dry us out, right? Low humidity, and that is what puts the ixnay on the wet season. So I think we're going to be getting close here. Could have a more sizable front here in about a week or so. But the changes coming immediately, drier wet season aside, is some drier weather, at least for the short term. We say goodbye to the rain for the weekend. By next week, the moisture levels start to return again as yet another storm system closes in. So we're going to put rainfall back in our forecast for next week. So we're kind of on the edge of kind of being in that wet and dry season pattern. Right now, slight chance for showers along the coast, but overall a mostly dry weekend if you're heading over to Daytona. And I took a look at next week. So this is like next Thursday through next weekend, showing another storm system coming by, better chance for rain to the north, but it was just a matter of time here before we get a stronger cold front through here, and that is going to usher in the drier half of our year. Here's your 5-day forecast. Weekend always in view. Don't have any 90s for us the next 5 days or even 7 days. 88 for a high tomorrow, just an isolated shower. There's that gorgeous weekend. We're back in the 60s, and then sunshine returns for the weekend. A little bit better chance for rain next week as that next storm system brings in a little bit better chance for rain. Greg?
All right, Tom, thank you. Coming up at 11 over on Channel 9, we're keeping our eye on tonight's progress of the Pegasus rocket. It was just launched into space less than an hour ago. We've got new video. Plus, the sketch Orlando police want people to see after a man forced his way into a woman's apartment. That's at 11.
Christian Inno and the Tampa Bay Rays playoff run sadly has come to an end.
Boy, they fought hard. They took the Astros to a Game 5, but then they ran into a guy named Garrett Cole.
Yeah, the Houston ace, nearly perfect. Unbelievable is right. What an inspiration.
Yeah.
Back just a few months after the diagnosis.
And here it is, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and just an awesome story there.
She'll be back on the field.
Well, thanks for watching us. We'll be back tomorrow night at 10.
And you get updates between newscasts by logging on to WFTV.com.
Make the change now. Go to Channel 9. We'll see you over there.